And we're live.
Good evening.
Hold on, I'm just waiting for Flippy to say late.
Oh, well,
He's not doing it. We're not late. Perfect. Hi everybody, we're back.
I mean, we're
Finally.
we're kind of 14 weeks late, so there's that.
I mean, that was planned. Sort of.
Kinda.
Anyway, guys, we're back. Super happy to be back. I'm super excited. I don't know about you, Rob, but I'm pretty sure you are
No.
as well. We're not excited. We're just lying. We don't really want to do this.
Yeah. No.
Not at all.
We've been excited for a while.
Oh yeah, we have. But now finally we're back, and we're going to get right back into it as we always have. This one, obviously, this is TA Monday, so we're gonna do TA. We're gonna focus
On a
first.
Monday.
Yeah, on a Monday. What? Really?
Monday. Wow. Wow.
Hi Silvio, by the way. Cyrus, Badger. I see Havoc is here. I know Plippy's here. Whole bunch of people. So yeah, we're gonna look at Bitcoin firstly, like we always do.
Did you miss us? Drop us some love hearts if you missed us in the comments.
Yeah, where's the hearts, fellas? Come on. But yeah, we're gonna look at Bitcoin firstly. Do the TA. I'm gonna kind of jump back to what since it's been so long. I'm gonna kind of jump back and look at what we talked about earlier, throughout the year, just to kind of. And I'll get to the point where I'm like, this is why I'm, kind
There's
of
a point.
bear bullish right now. There's a point at the end, I promise. So just bear with me. I think it might be good for everyone to have kind of like just a rundown of what's happened so far and what our TA back then was saying. And I have to say, and people have said to us as well, we have been bang on when we were doing these. And hi Imre as well. So yeah, we'll get right back into where we kind of left off. And Rob, you're going to be talking about basically. Well, actually, you tell them what you want to talk about, and then we'll get there when we get there.
You talk about Bitcoin. I'll talk about not Bitcoin.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. That sounds fair. All right, yeah, so we'll do that. So let's start off by just opening up. Let's see if I remember all the buttons here. There we go. Same chart that we've always had. Maybe some trend lines have changed, but essentially it's the same thing.
So really, not much except that bottom trend line, I guess, is new.
This extra one right here is actually new because this bottom had not happened yet. Either way, just reiterating what we've done before, just super quickly, and let me know if I'm going too fast here. So I just want to explain the importance of the fib levels here, which is what I'm going to get to because we're coming up to one right here. And it's kind of confluencing with this trend line as well, but we'll get to that. So once before the end of the year, we had this bottom kind of confirmation of that this fib level is a good support level. It also bounced here on the upper side of that range. And everybody who's watching us, they know that we talk about ranges a lot. Here's that range. And now we're currently in this range, right? Makes sense. We like the ranges. We like to buy the bottom of the range. So again, we had confirmation that these fib levels are valid. We had a massive crash through it right here, obviously, to get to the bottom.
Thank you, Sam.
Cats? Let's see. And
we said that didn't count. I said it was the FTX crash. It was.
This is the FTX crash. We kind of said, this looks more like what would have happened if the FTX didn't happen. This top right here was the FTX crash. So we kind of just moved this up. Obviously it could still have crashed anyway, but this is kind of an anomaly and that kind of hit this very, very long-term trend line right here. Just want to make sure that I don't paint anything on this screen right now. So either way, we broke back into it, right? We hit this here because of this, came back down, retested it, went back up, failed again on this same level, went to 20K psychological level, hit some resistance on the way back up, came through it, kind of stopped out because of this volume right here and this bottom right here, which is kind of this range right here, because this is actually fib level up here. So we kind of got stuck here. We retested the fib level, which we expected to twice, just like we did here. 1, 2. God damn, there's so much stuff painted on here. I'm just gonna remove some of that.
And
Sorry.
that was about where we stopped. That was
about where we stopped. Yeah, somewhere around here, we kind of stopped doing this, and we said I want to remember us saying that we will likely go back and retest this, and we did. And since then, we've kind of just moved up. So now we're reaching through this. We obviously cracked through, and this giant candle right here, I believe, was the ETF hype, which was fake-ish. But now we've kind of gotten stuck in this sideways move, kind of like exactly like how it always does. I'm just going to grab some random bars here and just say, does this look like a familiar pattern?
Have we seen this anywhere before?
Have we seen this before, guys? I don't know, maybe. So it's essentially, we get this big pump up, and then we get sort of a sideways move, maybe a secondary pump up like this one right here and right here from this. But honestly, at this point, I'm thinking, okay, can we get through this? Maybe. Where will we go? I don't know, but how that rhymed. I'm looking at this fib level saying, with everything that's happened to these current fib levels and how they've found support and resistance through basically since June of 2022, which is a long time ago, it's been valid throughout when it's important. And I'm kind of looking at this saying, okay, will we push through this? Maybe. And if we do, we're going to have an instant new resistance right above it, which is this trend line right here. If we get through that, are we going to go to 40K? I know a lot of people have been talking about 40K. And if I remember how to do these lines, let's see. 40K is right here. Oh, wow. That is... I don't remember how to do things. Oh, Alt-H. That's what I was looking for. Alt-H. Sorry about that. So we're kind of going straight through this. It's in the middle of everything. Yeah.
40K wasn't important in 2021.
No, it wasn't important. We had a little bit of stuff happening around
42K and 36-ish. And yeah, like...
So this fib level is 36.4.
You can see on the chart there was a lot of wicks in this sort of through 2021, especially the middle of it.
Yeah.
No, I mean I was talking about the bottom wicks as well. Not
just
the
I'm
top,
just looking for everything that kind of influences here.
Like just in terms of the whole year, like we saw these wicks that were that kind of they correspond to ranges, but the people get stuck up way too much about levels. Like I always would say, minimum with Bitcoin plus minus 1%. Like as a minimum, as in your resistance level's 36,000. If it pumps to 36.4, so what? It still ended up at the resistance level. Like
we keep saying this. Ranges. It doesn't have to be a huge range like these fib levels, but a resistance range, sort of like let's just do a real quick one here. Like, okay, this range from here, which is 40K down to 36, where we're kind of stuck right now, that's still a range where it's finding resistance throughout the whole previous peak market area.
And I've seen people who will do nothing but trade these ranges.
Yeah,
like they will just wait for right now. They will look at it and they'll go, okay, let's see where Bitcoin bottoms. If it comes down and tests the bottom that it's at now, that's maybe a bit short. Okay, we're going to come down to 32. At 32, they'll buy for no other reason than it's the bottom of a new range, and then they'll follow the stops up very, very gradually. And if it turns around and it drops lower, cool, we'll buy the bottom of the range again. And they'll just wait until it once it finds a range, it will bounce around 2, 3, 4 times. And if that's 10%, if you can make 10% 3 times, 4 times, 5 times in the space of a month,
that is a lot.
That beats most trading portfolios in a year.
Oh yes,
and that's it. You can do this. One of those things is of being. You've got to be good at it. You've got to be good at really identifying the ranges. And I think we're both a bit crap at short term range picking. I know I am.
Well, we're not the best in the world at anything, so I wouldn't bash us too much.
Speak
But
for yourself, sir.
Yeah, right. No, so here's the thing. From here, there are many scenarios to consider, because we cannot ever tell anyone this is going to happen. We will give you some scenarios that might happen, and the ones that we think are most valid, so to speak. We're stuck here right now. Yes, we can pump and get stuck here. Yes, we can kind of go back and retest this, which would be healthy. It's kind of like what happened here. And then come up and test this, which is exactly what happened here. I think if I even copied this piece right here, put it over here, it would look the same.
Yeah.
Does that mean we're going to get stuck under 36? Because this fib level is 36.4. You had just happened to mention 36.4. And we might get stuck here. There's two pretty nasty resistances here. And the hype is kind of dying down. We're going sideways here.
So the thing is, let's be honest. The hype isn't real. The hype is the same hype as it was 3 months ago, as 6 months ago, as 9 months ago, as 4 goddamn years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The hype and hope of a Bitcoin ETF, there is no ETF. There isn't
Not yet.
one until there isn't one. Yeah, exactly. Not yet. We know it's inevitable. We know it's coming. We know there will be one day a Bitcoin ETF. But as it stands right now, there isn't one. No. And so I had to cut this conversation short with you because I had to drive last week. You and Plippy and I we were talking about it as in going, what, oh, but just the once an ETF comes and the hype of what an ETF means is in that's going to drive the price so high. And I'm like, yeah, in theory, potentially, maybe. But when people talk about a big point I had to mention, people talk about BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
BlackRock is, did I say was it an $190 million dollar company, or 90 billion? 90 billion? No, 90 billion company, isn't it? 190 billion. So it's not a gigantic. Yeah. It's not a mega corporation. People think that BlackRock is going to take over the world. They've got $20 trillion of assets under management. It's like, yeah, they're assets under management. They are not their own
assets. Yeah, they're not their assets. That's for sure. Like, they cannot decide they cannot decide where to put this stuff. That's their customers. Yes, they can sell their new product, which is the IBTC ETF once it's released. They can pitch that to investors that have money with them, and that might move some cash. But
yes, that's going to move some cash. So let's think about what that actually means. As in, people aren't going to suddenly have a load of fresh capital to just suddenly pump into this ETF if it's from their pensions. These are normal people. I have a subsidiary of BlackRock is my pension provider. So every month I basically give BlackRock a portion of my salary. Now, are they going to let people en masse just go, yeah, you know what, I'm going to reallocate some to Bitcoin? In order to do that, you have to sell something, right? So you've got millions of people. So let's just say people talk about say let's go with the number 5% of your portfolio, and the people go, oh yeah, we're going to allow people to allocate up to 5% of their portfolio, and let's just use the simple numbers that BlackRock has $20 trillion of assets.
I think it's 10 actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, well, I think
either way,
yeah.
We'll go with 10. So either way, that's $500 billion is 5%. Are they going to allow $500 billion of instantaneous sell pressure, A, to hit macro markets, and B, to go into Bitcoin?
Yeah.
It's just a really sensible, logical question. Are they going to do that?
More than likely, not likely. Yeah.
No. The simple answer is no, exactly. Because it's an absolute fucking administrative nightmare above anything else. They couldn't do it. They couldn't pull that off. So they're going to launch, or they're going to get it approved, and then there will probably be 12 months until it actually launches, during which they will seed it. Are they going to seed it with fresh capital? No, BlackRock doesn't have any money. They're going to seed it with people who say, I'm willing to put up some of my Bitcoin. I'm willing to give you some of my Bitcoin to use. And then they will then use futures to short to basically offset that exposure. So you're going to have a situation where every Bitcoin that is bought on this spot ETF is going to end up getting shorted on a futures ETF. And we've seen the power that futures ETFs can have. And these are the sort of market dynamics that people have to actually think about. BlackRock are not just going to let an extreme amount of capital suddenly move out of trad markets into crypto overnight. Won't happen. So that doesn't mean to say that the hype, the FOMO, the simple fact that people have spent 2022 sat on their asses and 2023 going, oh yeah, I'm going to buy Bitcoin at 10K. And now they're looking at it at 34,000 and going, oh shit, it's not going to 10K, is it?
Yeah.
Now they're suddenly going, ETF, oh shit, it's going up now. I need to buy now. And then that's it. So they're buying.
The well-known FOMO.
Yes, and it doesn't take an awful lot of volume to push the price a hell of a long way. We've seen that. So people should just temper their expectations. I don't know what's going to happen. BlackRock could come out tomorrow and say, yeah, you know what? ETF's ready to go, guys. You know what? All that Bitcoin that you sold 2 years ago, yeah, we bought it all.
Yeah.
All of it. We bought it all, and now we're going to give you an ETF. Maybe. Do I think it's going to happen? No, because I think it would be incredibly irresponsible for their market makers. The powers, let's be honest. BlackRock answer to people way bigger than crypto. And do those people want an overnight allocation of 5% or whatever into Bitcoin? No. Because that means that 5% is going to come out of somewhere else.
I would be surprised to see 0.5% in the first year coming in of 10 trillion. Like that, for me, that is
0.1%.
Yeah, it's not going to be a lot. So, okay, with all that said, if we get back to the TA, because we tend to kind of go off on these things, which is nice.
I think it was a worthwhile point on the back of why this is going.
Hell yes.
Yes.
Hell yes, for sure. So, before I let you get into your
comments, we have to just match and say BlackRock has total assets under management of 9 million. Thank you, John. We will still get a God candle on the day of the approval. Yeah, we will.
Yes.
And in the run up, and I say people should sort of remember that the CME futures, the first time we ever had futures on Bitcoin in a institutional manner, the day that launched marked the absolute cycle top in 2017. The literal day, 17th of December, that was when they launched. And I would very, very much expect to see something similar, that we get the approval, or they get, people will know it's before they get the approval, we'll already have seen the price probably climb 50% in anticipation of the approval by people who know it's going to be approved.
Yeah.
So by the time we hear the news, it will already be priced in.
Yeah.
And
sort of.
we will then we will buy in FOMO, or I say we as in the great unwashed, the plebs, the people who don't actually have any money will then buy, and then the launch will happen, and everyone will go, yay, great, BlackRock are going to philanthropically decided that they're going to make us all millionaires. Yay, go BlackRock, thank you. And then the price is going to fucking collapse.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is what I was trying to get to. With all that explained, this is where I'm like, if we're looking at whatever resistances we do have just technically, it's 36.4 with the fib level. It's this trend line right now. Then it's 40K as a psychological thing with a little bit of backing there.
With and some
then
noise
after
around
that, with some noise around it. And then we have like a whole range of just
48K,
volume.
That
and then we kind of end up at 48K, which is right here, 48, something like that. And it's like, okay, maybe we go all the way up here and everyone's going to be super happy. And then, boom, macro destroys everything. Doesn't. Imagine the smell of things just correcting.
Right? I love it when you use that. It's my favorite phrase.
Yeah,
imagine the smell.
It's not like it hasn't happened before. Get a giga pump, and then
this is it. To me, this is where we are. We're in this mid-cycle complacency. Everyone thinks, oh, that's it. The bad times are over. Everyone's going to the moon. Dude, we've spent a few months. We spent like a couple of months downtrending. We've broken up out of the range. There was some fake news on an ETF hype, and all of a sudden, can anybody see any fear anywhere, or is it all greed?
Yeah. So I'm just toying around with this right now just for fun, but you see
stretch
my point
stretch
here.
it out, and it does fit pretty well.
Yeah. This is much softer. This downtrend that we've had, like obviously everything has been a lot slower here, because this is the first time the crypto market and Bitcoin is experiencing an actual business cycle of when things are bottoming out. So this downtrend was much longer than it was before. The bottom range was much longer, which is, this range right here. This is what I would call the bottom range right here. And then we've been moving in an uptrend after that. And
So
if we get this big dump after that, that's fine.
So just for sort of clarity, if you can just head on to the BLX, so we can see the full range. And if
I'm gonna go weekly in this one.
Yeah, and I'll just double click. Just please double click the price.
No, I like doing that because it annoys you.
But if we have a look back to 2015, and we saw the same sort of thing that we've seen right now. I remember saying it numerous times that this cycle to me looked a hell of a lot more like 2014-15 than it did 2018. It just so happened that Bitcoin being Bitcoin, it happened to make an all-time high in a bear market. The bull market had already ended in October, November. There was a hell of a lot of metrics to show it, but the hype hadn't died. This, the macro hype, the overall, the bull market hadn't ended in stocks, and that sort of dragged us up. But the peak euphoria happened in April for me. I saw that as the overall market top, and most coins kind of topped around then. Ethereum sort of, look at me, I'm going to go nuts for a bit more. And you have the likes of Luna. Didn't Luna have what was its market cap at one point? Like 40 billion or 50?
Very many, a lot.
Very many. UST, I'm sure UST was there was 40 billion UST at some point.
Yeah, and I think you're,
it's, that was the kind of thing that was dragging us up. And then without that, we'd have probably had if we hadn't had that 70k blow off top, things would be a lot more 2014-esque. Things would be a lot more boring. Yeah. And does it feel like we've come out of the accumulation phase? Does this feel like the world is primed, full of fresh capital and newly minted people with loads of money to deploy into this exciting, innovative, risky new environment? Is that what it feels like?
Is that where, like how you put things? It's funny.
Is that the world we're living in? Because I know a hell of a lot of middle-class people who are absolutely fucking broke.
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest, they ain't rich. They're not. No. You asked me a question the other day and say, sorry, we're going away from. Oh, I'm going away from TA again a bit. And you were saying about GDP growth. The USA GDP growth has just had a print and it's stupid high. Yeah, it's like 4.7%.
4.9, yeah.
4.9. Okay, and it's a genuine question. How? I thought the world was bad. I thought everything's sort of breaking, and it's like, yeah, but things take time to break. And if you think about one thing I know is that over the last year, I over tightened. I stopped. I cut out all my excess expenditure. I cut out an awful lot because I was at the start of the year. I was skint. I had no money, and now I'm actually looking at it. I'm looking at the monthly situation and going, I got a little bit left over at the month because actually I've changed my spending habits, and so we can have these periods where actually even the household budget can have a bear market, and then it can have a relief rally where, as I say, me personally in particular, I'm there going, actually I can afford a holiday. and that's a bounce back to GDP growth. Bear markets don't happen in a straight line. If in 4 months' time I get told that I'm being made redundant and that my company's closing down, well, I can still go on holiday now because I could afford it at the time. I ain't going on any more holidays.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna give it over to you soon, Rob. But I just want to make sure that we don't get stuck on too much macro, even though that's our favorite topic and everybody who's watched us, they know that. And we will probably do. I will pitch it to Rob to try to do a macro only show, like on Fridays maybe or something. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll find days.
Because then we can just kind of slide into that then. But look, so I had some questions that was asked to me this week by some people in the community, crypto community at large, and a lot of people that I know that are not like in crypto that much or not that experienced, they have been asking me, oh, do you think we're going to crack through this level and this level or whatever? Should I be buying now and just ride the wave up? And I keep telling everybody the same thing. I'm just going to show this real quick because this is the question that people have been asking me. Should I buy now and ride the wave up, or should I not buy? So my last thing here is, once you see this kind of type of pump, and it looks like this, and I'm just going to open the RSI for this because it's simple. You see this big pump up, and you're getting to the green on the RSI. Should you buy here? Would you buy here, knowing what it looks like afterwards? No, you wouldn't. Would you buy here when it pumps up and goes high on the RSI? No, you probably wouldn't, because you see it usually comes down to earth after that. I saw it 1, 2, 3 times, and now number 4, we're seeing the exact same thing, but the RSI is hilariously overbought, and it can stay up here for a while. Yes, that is very true. However, would you buy here? Would you buy at these when it looks like this? Or would you buy when it looks like this?
So, yeah, there's a
simple.
really
That's my response to all of you who's asked me this.
It's a really simple phrase. If you are more excited to buy Bitcoin now than you were when it was 15,000, then you are falling victim to FOMO, and you aren't buying Bitcoin for the right reasons. You're buying it because I'm going to miss out if I don't buy it now. I need to make some money. This is the best way. It's going to go to all-time high. Blah 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 blah. And this is the market. This is what the market does. I remember, because that was me in 2018 and 2019 and 2020, and so Bitcoin or crypto in general will give you PTSD if you hang around it long enough. Like I am absolutely traumatized both by the thought of it giga pumping and giga dumping. All I know is I have never made an intelligent buy when I bought on, should I buy this thing now?
Yeah.
You can get lucky. You can get lucky. However, if you look at the regularity with which these assets hit oversold territory, hit complete and total collapse, and let's say not so much Bitcoin. You say we'll see shortly. We'll have a bit of chat about altcoins, but it's very, very rarely a good idea to buy here. It's just not. I'm not particularly macro. I'm quite macro bearish, but I can accept that Bitcoin is going to outpace, probably over the next several year period. It's going to outpace most things you could buy, but it's a hella volatile asset, and I would always caution exactly the same thing. If you don't own any Bitcoin, for God's sake, get off zero. Get some, even if that means buying now. If you just started out, from here, whether that not you use Crypto Talks' incredible strategies, or you just simply start putting in whatever money you've got, when you have it. If you start putting in some money and you wait for several years, you will be happy. So I'll always use my dad as an example. So my dad has been dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin since about, I think, March 2021. He started at the absolute worst time. He started at the absolute all-time high. But that was how long it took me having told him in 2020 to actually say, for him to come around to the idea and go, oh yeah, this is worth buying. And I wish he'd have started much earlier. But having said, okay, I'm ready to start, and I just said, okay, start, but just dollar cost average, buy every single month, regardless of what the price is. And he bought it, and within 2 months, it had crashed 50%.
Yeah.
But guess what? His third, fourth, and fifth buys were at a much lower cost basis. And then the price went up and rallied high, and he's going, oh, yeah, I'm in profit. And I was like, I'm not sure it's going to last. However, I wouldn't recommend to a 56-year-old man who's investing in this for the first time to suddenly start day trading, to suddenly start selling his bags. I said to him, the party may be over, but for you, where you're at, think of the next peak and the next peak and the next peak after that, and just keep going. And so he has been. And now for 2 years, over 2.5 years at this point, he has been dollar cost averaging Bitcoin every month, blind DCA. And I remember a couple of, he did actually, without me knowing, he threw some money in of course he did it quite high. That was it. He broke the plan and put some money in, at probably about $50,000. And that's obviously now quite a long way away from breaking even. But still now I know that that the Bitcoin price is currently above his cost basis. He is now in profit on this thing. And he started buying at the absolute worst time. But it's only the worst time if you don't carry on doing it for a long time period.
Yeah.
And so
it's all about time preference.
Yeah. And so would I recommend buying now? No. Would I recommend getting some Bitcoin if you don't have any? Yeah. Because I could be wrong. This is, like you say, this could pump up to 50,000 and then it could dump down to 30, and that's the cycle bottom. That's it, done.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen, but it's possible.
Yeah.
And so would I be wrong in saying to people buy now? Pretty.
Well, it depends on the time preference. Again, it's like,
exactly.
Yes, if your time preference or time frame that you're looking, okay, I'm going to buy now, I'm going to keep saving in Bitcoin, investing in Bitcoin until I retire in 25 years. Dude, buy the absolute peak of the next market. Fine, dude. Like, it doesn't matter. But using, like you said, our phenomenal tools or whatever you said, this is what that looks like. I've only turned on the short-term dip buying thing, which is the yellow one, and the bear market bottom hunter, which is the absolute bottom. And you see, again, this tool is designed to tell you when it's a good time to buy, okay? In technical terms, price action terms. None of these are showing up at any type of level that is near where we are right now, which is a top, right? This is showing all the bottoms. Even if they're spread out, like right here and right here, here. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a bottom.
Still a bottom.
That's the point. It's a bottom. So that's kind of the idea with this whole thing, and that's what we're trying to say. And just to clarify that all of these strategies and indicators that we are currently creating, they're almost done, and we're going to open the Patreon very shortly, hopefully. I can't give you a date, but we're going to complete them shortly. So the point with those are, we made them, which means that the bottom hunter, for example, that is my way of thinking when I want to find a bottom to buy something, but we put it into code. And I'm pretty good at that. Obviously, that seems to work pretty well.
I can put up an easy thing. If you want to see a perfect example, just switch to my screen for a second.
I'm going to give it over to you anyway, because you're going to do the alt thing.
This is my bot. This is my strategy, which I'm using actively. There's some in the red, but there's a lot of green, and these are all things that I bought. Low key, top of the list.
Nice
investment. But no, basically, I've got a big list of coins, and I let people, say I don't really care which ones are which, but I'm buying a huge range. Some of them are meme coins. Most of them are solid fundamental coins. Some of them are just new listings. I've literally put every new Binance listing on there. So I'm using these scripts. Phil, you're using these scripts. This is what we intend to trade ourselves. We're not going to be using anything not the code part.
No, I was just want to say the code part. Just give some credit here because Rob does most of the coding as of right now. We have Plippy helping us do the code basically since yesterday or 2 days ago when I finally started telling him you need to help us, and he's helping us. So thank you.
I taught Plippy about 10% of everything he knows, which is everything I know, and then Plippy just started actually learning himself, and is now way better than I could ever be at this stuff. So
yeah, so huge credit to Plippy for helping us out now, because I'm gonna be on you, Plippy, and I know you're watching. We're gonna be on you to kind of help us complete these things so that it get done, and hopefully we can drop this soon, by end of year at least, I would say. Anyway, so I'm gonna Rob, you're gonna talk about the whole Bitcoin versus alts and alts versus alts thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna give it up over to you and just go ahead.
So, well, there you go. I'll start here. I'm on the chart. So this is Bitcoin dominance chart, and you can go back a long way. I've had this box drawn on my chart for quite a while. I still have this ultimate box. Here's the final boss. So this is Bitcoin dominance. So it's just the amount that Bitcoin takes up of the overall market, and you can see quite successfully we hit target 1. And this is something, Bitcoin is or crypto in general is very simple, is that it really does sort of follow these very basic technical patterns. And it's kind of, I'm sure that macro guys, proper traders who have been doing this for 20 years, they just see Bitcoin as like trading for children, because it's so reliable in how it follows technicals quite often. And say this is Bitcoin dominance. This isn't anything to do with the valuation of altcoins on a fundamental basis and this technical development. And but Solana's about to reach 1 million transactions per second. ETH's terrible. It's so slow and expensive. No, none of that noise. This is just the Bitcoin market cap divided by the total crypto market cap. And you can see we had a breakout, very simple breakout of this resistance range. I'm in white, that's no good.
Yeah, you'll have to draw a line and then paint
yellow. Yeah, there you go. So yeah,
there we go.
We've got a clear resistance level, and then we got a breakout, and then we got a retest, and now we got a higher high. And where have we stopped? We stopped at the previous low.
Yep.
Like, it's not difficult. Is it precise? Is this an exact percentage? Is this an exact level? No, it's a range. That's why I drew on the box as a range. 52, 53, 54%. Either way, it's showcasing that, okay, yeah, we've had a period of Bitcoin, say, coming up, and it's testing into this previous range of dominance. And I still kind of expect it to go up and hit this range, but with the acceleration, with the force that it's gone up, it's, there's an opportunity to go say Bitcoin is not the only fundamentally valuable cryptocurrency. Is it the most valuable? Is it the only one that most people would touch? Yeah, sure. Are 99% of altcoins crap? Yeah, they still are. Is your altcoin crap? Is your favorite altcoin crap?
Probably.
Sorry.
It
probably is. But from a technical perspective, Bitcoin is now going, and it's just pushed straight into what is a previous resistance. And okay, if it breaks up, and if it breaks up hard, and as we say, if it moves towards the sort of 36k, 40k barrier, I think probably more than 40k it would take to get up to 58% dominance.
That's why I talked about the 48k thing. It might happen, but
because what you have to think of there is that say a gain of 54 to 58% is a big move, because what that's saying is that the altcoin market is going to go from 46 to 42% dominance. So that's a 10% drop on average of every altcoin versus Bitcoin.
Yep.
So that involves that's Bitcoin going up in valuation and the altcoins going nowhere, or that's Bitcoin outpacing the overall market.
Yep.
And you've seen throughout all basically the entirety of this year. If you were in Bitcoin, was it Control V or Alt V?
Yes.
If you were in Bitcoin this year, you were a winner.
Yeah.
Overall, because the overall market has, Bitcoin has gained dominance, significant dominance from starting at a low of, let's see where the year started. It was about 42% dominance, i.e., altcoins are roughly 60% of the market. Now altcoins are 45% of the market. So the average altcoin has dropped about basically 30, it's dropped 30% or so against Bitcoin.
Yeah, on average.
On average.
Yep.
That's on average. That's bearing in mind that, like I said, most altcoins are crap. So even though there are some choice altcoins, some of them that have significantly outpaced the market, on the whole, you'd have been better off just buying Bitcoin. And this is the thing: is when you actually look, and this. So I'm going to give there's two ways of looking at it. There's arguments that you should only own Bitcoin, and there's arguments that you should never own Bitcoin. And both are valid arguments. There's an argument that you should just bother with Bitcoin because it's a safe bet, that there is nothing else that's remotely has the same value proposition of Bitcoin, and anything that does, well, it's orders of magnitude more risky.
Yes.
The other side is, well, when you're in a risk-on period, altcoins outpace Bitcoin, and when you're in a risk-off period, well, you want to be in dollars. So there's a case to only be in Bitcoin, and there's a case to never be in Bitcoin. And I kind of sit somewhere between the two. Is I think kind of agree with both sides. Yeah.
I think it's good to swing Bitcoin for alts in between, and that's kind of what you're going to get into here, I think, right?
Yeah. So essentially, this is where we're at. As in, okay, could Bitcoin carry on up? But yeah, absolutely. But it's already sort of oversold on the dominance chart. So what I have a special watch list, my orange watch list for Orange Coin, and this is my list of coins. Some are shit, some are better than others. Some are ones that I just got interested in and sort of followed. Most layer ones that I can see, and so I keep all these plotted versus Bitcoin, like, available to me, and you can see the likes of these swings happen. Big swings versus Bitcoin are normal. This is Aave, just for example. There's one very choice coin, and this is something we were talking about in the Discord, where Coin Bureau, we think, made a typo of it's going to go up to $24. Now, we think that probably meant 2.4. Either way, neither of us are particular Cardano fanboys because, really?
Yeah, it's not pretty,
it's not
is
good.
it?
However, from Cardano's inception, looking at this is just daily, from daily close to daily close, and here where we are now. From a purely technical perspective, a coin which has been going in a consecutive in a bear market, and this is versus Bitcoin, remember, it's been in a downhill pattern versus Bitcoin for 783 bars. That's 2 years. Over 2 years.
Over 2 years, yeah.
Is it not maybe a fairly reasonable time for just a bit of a relief rally? When it and considering that when it's come down to here, is that it doesn't necessarily, it's not going to pop up straight away, but if you look at this kind of motion, every time it's come down to here, we've seen a pretty aggressive move upwards. And although it's not major, if you look at, say, here, it's currently at 872 sats. It's basically its first major resistance, because bear in mind, it's already here as well. Its first major resistance from here is about 1,500 sats. It's nearly a 2x versus Bitcoin. And that's not a question. That's not something that's out of the question. I'll just point to something that has been done very similar, Mina. And again, it's a much smaller coin. It's a layer one. It specializes in. It's a very small block size, so it's useful for some applications, I guess. It's just another coin. But out of the blue, out of absolutely nowhere, it pumped well over 100%. And this just an example of a coin that can move, and you'll see these movements. You can see these movements even in Cardano, in basically everything. So if we just scroll through a few, so Atom is something that we've mentioned very, very time. It's got a very reliable range against Bitcoin. It's starting to come into that value range. It still has, if you look where it's at, and it's currently pumped quite a lot today. It's still got 20% down versus Bitcoin to go. But when you consider that that's this bottom line would be an 80% pullback, 78% pullback versus the current level. There's only so far these coins go down before they are better value than Bitcoin. And I'm not saying that now is this the case for these. However, if you think about, are you going to DCA into coins? Well, Bitcoin is now at 36,000, or 34,000, sorry. It's around half its all-time high. If you look at Atom versus, say, the dollar, and I'm saying I'm not proposing Atom in general, it's still something like 82% down from its all-time high. Now, so that means that from where Bitcoin is, it's still a 60% drop from its all-time high. It's still a 60% drop from where Bitcoin is. And so I'm not saying go for this for every alt, but if you look at some of the more solid alts, for example, say crypto.com. Is crypto.com being a, say, these are very old trends where we talked about it. I remember us talking about, this must have been back in January. Like, I'm sure if we can go back, and I said, I expect Crow to come down and revisit this range, or I wouldn't be surprised. And here it is, revisiting the range. Now, is crypto.com, have they disappeared? I still use them as my main coin, as my main exchange for onboarding. And I watched the UFC last weekend, and I don't know if anybody else did, but all I could see all through the night is crypto.com. Crypto.com, sponsored by crypto.com, the world's leading cryptocurrency exchange. It's not, but
it's not. It really isn't.
It's still the one I use because it's easier than Kraken, than Coinbase.
To onboard.
It's easy to onboard, so I still use it.
But and I think as well, that's why we recommend crypto.com as for somebody who's completely new to crypto. It's just an app you can onboard using your MasterCard, Visa card. It's a high fee, but people that just get into this stuff,
it's not high fee. It's not high fee.
They're not
going
to care.
Deposit your dollars. You can deposit your dollars or deposit your pounds
I'm just
euros.
saying the simplicity of using your card to do that. A lot of people that are not in finances and kind of just want to dabble in Bitcoin, they don't know how to do a SEPA transfer or whatever, or a Swift transfer. People just don't know that stuff, weirdly enough, to me. No offense if you don't, but
So, so just having a look, say, Plippy's saying alts are up in dollar value, though. Yes, alts are up in dollar value. But most alts, or many alts, aren't up in dollar value on the start of the year more than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point.
Not even ETH is.
No, I mean, so ETH is a perfect example, and this is one of the things that is kind of making me, I haven't even got round to ETH yet, but ETH is sort of making me altcoin bullish, because this was the last thing that we talked about. I've done very little TA since we last streamed, so a lot of these charts was exactly as I left them. And you see, we broke bearish out of what's supposed to be a bullish pattern, but we're now coming close to this. Okay, it's not exact, but it's a fairly choppy, but it's good. It is a 6-year range. This is a 6-year trend line, and so this kind of leads me to the parting thoughts, which are, I'll just show you a few that have completely failed. Filecoin, all-time lows. Algorand, all-time lows. Flow, all-time lows.
Oh gosh, that is
Glimmer,
nasty.
all-time lows. ICP, Carver, hell, even the Litecoin. Sorry, not Chainlink. Chainlink's been doing pretty well, but forget Chainlink. Its all-time high was in August 2020 versus Bitcoin. That's over 3 years. of
Yeah.
just slow bleed versus Bitcoin. Your altcoin of choice probably won't outpace Bitcoin. Not for more than a cycle. Just get down to one good one, which I know is one of my favorites, and I know you are slowly learning about it, paying a bit more attention to it, which is Quant. Quant had an absolute dynamite bull market. It rose up to, I remember my friend was buying it below like $2 to $5 before it even listed on Bittrex, which is this the exchange it's been listed on longest.
Yeah.
And it had an absolutely amazing bull run. It still pulled back 80% multiple times against Bitcoin. Don't, just because something has a major pullback against Bitcoin, if you believe in its fundamentals will probably play out. But don't go buying it at relative highs, buy it at relative lows. And this is, for me, we're at a period now where Bitcoin has made a kind of irrational move based on hype more than substance. But there was a lot of technical reasons. A lot of moving averages are compressed, a lot of time. It was time for Bitcoin to have a move up. And it's done so. And the altcoins haven't really followed through yet. Since Bitcoin topped, we've started to see alts rally. And this is something, if there's one thing to take away, I think, today, if Bitcoin goes up, alts go down versus Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes down, alts go down versus dollars. Altcoins shine when Bitcoin isn't really going anywhere.
Yep.
When Bitcoin's had its run, Bitcoin can move. Sometimes everything goes up. Great, it's green days.
Yeah.
Can you remember many of those in the last 2 years?
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, I can add to this too. Like, if you look at, like you said, some select very strong names that have very good fundamental valuations. For example, I'm looking at Injective right now, which is a coin that I haven't really paid much attention to be fair, but it's up 400% year to date against Bitcoin, which is a lot. You look at Render, for example, it's up 200%.
So you look at Injective and you go, there you go. This is something. Now look at all the coins that I've just shown that are at all-time lows or approaching all-time lows, and I only showed a few. Say most of this, my selection, VeChain. I think VeChain's great. It's still fucking not doing well.
Yeah.
The likes.
Look
of
at Solana Bitcoin. I think you have that there too, and that's going to show you another story. It's down, but it's sideways now.
But even then, Solana, you're talking about one of the absolute darlings of the last bull market. It went way higher than it ever should have gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Similar to XRP, similar to Cardano in the last in 2018, XRP was never deserving of $3 in 2017. In 2018, sorry, it's not deserving of $3 now. Cardano hit like $1.30 in 2018. Yeah. Okay, did it deserve nearly $3 in 2021? No, I don't think so. But it deserved it a hell of a lot more than it did in 2018 when it was basically vaporware. So, yeah, Solana pulled back incredibly nastily because it was one of the best performers. It got overpumped, but now it had a 95% correction versus USD. Yep. Ethereum had a 95% correction versus USD in the last bear market. There are some things which are very good. Flow is a good example of something which it's still putting in bottoms versus dollars. But I bought this. I participated in the ICO for this coin. I got in at 10 cents, and then I watched it while my stuff was locked. In fairness, right up to over $40. I put $1,000 into it. I was getting paid the interest. I was getting paid $500 a week in interest. What do you think I was doing with that? Selling it. Dumping that shit. Absolutely. Get rid of that. I don't give a fuck. You want to buy it at $40? See you later. And I was selling my interest all the way down. And now...
like everybody else, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's spent 6 months where it's actually bottomed. It's actually not really going any lower. Do I think it's a good project? Yes. Do I think it's got a lot of room to grow? Yeah. Do I think it'll reach $40 again? Yeah, maybe not.
No,
But
maybe
it's
not.
90. But it is 99% down. What do
Yeah.
I think is more likely? That Bitcoin pops itself up to 70K, or that Flow reaches $1?
Yeah. What is it
For
now?
me, it's 54 cents.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same move. It's just you don't need much
Exactly.
money to move this, really.
Exactly. And this
Yeah.
is the thing: is that these altcoins, this isn't necessarily a period for holding altcoins, but for trading altcoins. If you've got the right ones, if you've got ones that you're happy to have a bit of drawdown in, that you're happy to DCA into, this is the sort of period where actually the altcoins can offer a bit more value.
Yeah.
This is with the very, very big caveat that if Bitcoin decides it's had enough here and it decides to roll over back to 25K, you're gonna get wrecked on your alts.
Yeah.
So have a stop loss, have appropriate risk management. Don't overexpose yourself to any particular coin. However, the opportunities for me aren't necessarily big on alts. The opportunity currently is maybe even sitting in ETH, which, although it looks pretty underwhelming versus dollars, if I just draw this sort of trend line and go, could it pop up to 2,500? Well, it's sat and it's got resistance around 2,000 1, 2, 3 times this year.
Yeah.
Could it pop up to 2.5K out of nowhere? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is
Probably.
it going to? I don't know. Let's see. But that would actually be a sign of a bottom of this uptrend in ETH BTC. So it's what makes me think this is more likely is looking at this and going, actually, ETH is bottoming. This was June 2022. This is nearly a year and a half that it's double bottoming after this period, coming up to this trend line, and even a pump up to the top of here. That's 17% versus Bitcoin.
Yep.
Bitcoin can move up in the same time. So that's easily could be a 30-40% gain if Bitcoin decides it's got another 10-20% in it.
Yeah, it moves along with everything. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you've got a point. Really. Even though we do need to kind of start rounding off.
We do a bit.
Because normally our plan is to go for half an hour, maybe 45.
Not today. Nah,
and
not
since
today.
we were
This
gone
is
for
the
so
return.
long, yeah, might as well.
We were
do an
never
hour.
going to keep this to 30 minutes. Let's be honest.
No, we wouldn't. I do want to show one more thing real quick, and this is just to show it.
Go.
This is my Solana chart right now against the dollar. And talking about fib levels, here we go. And now we cracked through it. Does that mean Solana will go to 39, which is this red here? Maybe. Or it will just do a wick here and just fall over. I don't know. I did have a person ask me about buying Solana, like I said before. Don't buy here, man. Like, if it bounces back on this, then maybe, yeah. But
what's your upside here? At the absolute best, it goes up and does 48%. Okay, great. You've made 30% profit. Okay.
The next resistance after this is like, are you going to risk it all for 11%?
And by comparison, look at how many other coins have opportunities. And that's not to say that I think those coins are better than Solana. Absolutely not. Solana is showing its strength. Good.
Yeah.
It's still, if Sol BTC hasn't particularly really started to move yet. Do I think it's going to? I would think you should go back to the February tops there. Go back to the previous level tops and draw the line.
Yeah, I would, but it's
but still,
it looks boring. But you're right.
Yeah, so
something like that.
Use the wick of July.
I don't know if I want to. It's a huge wick.
Use the wick.
It's
but
much
still,
of a wick.
Nah, I prefer that kind of move. But still,
fine.
It's doable. But that's a 10% gain. Do you think that Solana's going to pop its way up to 70, 100 from here? I don't.
No, the absolute max for me would be 48, and after that, it's the same with Bitcoin. 48K, $48 for Solana is kind of the same. Like,
this is one of those things where you start to see coin rotations. So take coins that have already pumped and put them into stuff that you believe in that hasn't pumped yet. And that can be a very profitable way. Getting married to your bags can be problematic. So on that note,
Yeah, we're rounding this off because we got
Rounding
18
off.
seconds now. No, we're not that picky, but yeah. So first of all, super fun being back doing this. I haven't done this in what is it, 15 weeks, 14 weeks?
14.
It's been a while. 15, 14 weeks. Yeah,
15 weeks. 14 weeks we've missed. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, we missed an hour.
I forgot how to turn my PC on. That's why. No,
Yeah.
but really, super stoked to be back. Obviously, if we remember the outro, what do we do usually? Share this with everybody we've ever known or met ever, and people that you haven't met yet. Otherwise, you're gonna fall and scrape your knee. It's gonna hurt. And if you don't, there's gonna be when you wake up in the morning tomorrow, you're gonna have a hole in your sock. That's bad. You don't want that. So you have to share this with everybody. Join the Discord. We want to talk to everybody. We're gonna sit around, do stuff as we usually do.
Chat.
And yeah, come chat and like, subscribe, and all of that jazz.
Show it to everyone.
Yeah,
It's been a good hour. We've not been here for 4 months. Make it worthwhile. Let's get our view count up.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's go. Yeah, we got 10 people in watching. I saw that. That was fun. Thank you. So we'll see you.
100 more
Yeah,
afterwards.
50 billion
Each of
people.
you show 10 people.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's do it. Anyway, thanks everybody. We'll see you the next time. Hopefully later this week, but probably on Monday. We'll see.
We'll see.
Bye everybody. Cheers.
Bye.